Okay, Podsters, this is it. This is your tipping point, your moment to take action or live with never knowing what could have been. We all have that thing that we know we are meant to do that scares us, that we're not sure we can do, and that we know we need a little help doing. My Do the Thing Fall Retreat is happening October 13th through 15th in where else? Cape Cod, in the tranquil seaside town of Truro, where I've hand-selected a beach house for 9 like-minded women to get together and do the thing. You already know that there's a life waiting for you on the other side of this thing. And this powerful, intimate 2.5-day workshop is exactly what you need. If you don't do it now, you probably never will. Don't live with regret. Do the thing. Click the link, fill out the very brief application. Let's hop on a call because I want to make sure it's the right fit for you. Together, let's do the thing.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary, Nance.
Podsters, we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary. Can you believe it, Beth? 1 year.
I can't believe it. That was fast.
Not only was that fast, we have released an episode every week for a year. That's amazing, with the exception of like a couple holiday weeks, but that's amazing.
It's a big year.
Do you want to tell everybody what we're doing for our very special anniversary episode?
So for our anniversary, not only are we going on LinkedIn Live to record.
June 15th, 12 o'clock.
June 15th, 12 o'clock.
Yep.
But we are going to talk about what you tell us you want to hear about. We want to.
Oh my God.
We want to hear what you guys have to say.
That's amazing. You mean the Podsters can get in touch with us and tell us what they want to hear about?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Amazing. I bet in order to do that, we have a lot of options. I'll bet that they could DM either one of us on LinkedIn or Insta.
Totally.
Ka-ching. They could leave a comment on my YouTube channel. It's a channel. They could hit more info on Beth's website or my website. Or, are you ready for this? Can we get a drum roll? We need a drum roll. You can send us a voice message. It doesn't matter where you are. We are streaming in 36 countries. It does not matter where you are. If you are listening on Apple, you can go to the information about the podcast, click on episode website. It will bring you out to our episode website, and there you can send a voice message and it will get to us and we will hear your voices, which we love nothing more. So let us know what you want to hear. What else you got, Beth?
That's it. I'm excited to hear other people's voices, something instead of our own. That would be nice.
Exactly. All right. Peace out. We will see you all at the special anniversary episode on June 15th, 12 o'clock on LinkedIn Live.
Bye.
Bye. Welcome to Unmute Yourself, the podcast. I'm Nancy Medoff, keynote speaker, best-selling author, executive coach, and equity evangelist who literally wrote the book on women in confidence.
And I'm Beth Knaus, creative copywriter who works with female entrepreneurs who are done putting safe and general content out there and ready to walk the fine line between honoring their bold voices and perspectives and honoring their professionalism. We are on fire and on a mission to inspire and empower you, and who are we kidding? The world, to speak up, stand out, and get your seat at the table. If you're looking for straight talk and a weekly shot of confidence, you've landed in the right place.
Beth and I met while collaborating on my #1 bestseller, Unmute Yourself and Speak Up to Stand Out. We hit it off and we knew right away that we needed to keep these important conversations going so that women around the globe will speak up and stop building our own glass ceiling. So here we are, coming at you weekly with a perfect blend of realistic strategies, actionable tools, and real life stories to bring these important and somewhat controversial ideas to life. Doing so with humor, kindness, and the occasional shenanigans.
Get ready to feel empowered and inspired to speak up, to stand out, and to build your confidence toolkit. Note to men or women who are not working in a professional capacity, we see you too, and we promise you the conversations here will inspire you as well. So buckle up, folks, because here we go.
Hey, hey,
Nance, how are you?
we back. Your sound's a little off. Did you move?
I didn't touch anything.
Oh no, we have such a great topic. Talk again.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little light, but I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Anyway,
all right.
so we're coming in hot. We're coming in hot, Podsters. This is a hot one. We are worked up. Almost, but not quite as worked up as CNN. Did we talk about that?
Oh, I don't think we mentioned it. And I have something else I'm going to mention when you're done too. Go ahead.
We didn't mention this?
I don't know. Maybe we did.
I think we did. Anyway, so we have two number one episodes. One is the happiness curve and how it is statistically and scientifically proven that you are happier the older you get. This is not just something that people my age tell ourselves. This is true. And the other number one episode is when we were hot about CNN and Don Lemon and his inappropriate, misogynistic, and ageism remarks. And fast forward a few months, Don's out. We did talk about it. So if you want to catch that episode, it's called CNN is at it again. And while Beth is talking, I will look and tell you exactly what number it is.
Okay. While you're in there, will you please let me know the number of the feedback episode? Because I heard something fabulous. I heard you should never take criticism from someone whom you wouldn't ask advice from.
Yeah. Who said that?
I was listening to Jane Green, who's a well-known author, and she was talking to, oh God, I'm going to forget her name, but she just wrote a fabulous book called On Brand. That's
Fun.
all about branding. Her last name is Licht, Licht, and she has a podcast. I can't remember the name of the podcast.
Okay.
This is life. This is old age, folks.
Right. So this is, by the way, that episode too, April 4th, it was called Unsolicited Feedback, Thanks But No Thanks. Mm-hmm. And that rocketed up quickly.
Yeah.
And then the CNN, I like to call it a rant. It was not long. It was only a few minutes, but actually it was 27 minutes, was on March 7th. So we digress. The reason we haven't been that fired up since March 7th. So we are fired up because the other day, I was looking through I was scrolling. It might have even been yesterday. And there was an article and I sent it to Beth because I have had enough. And the article was titled, Resenteeism is the latest trend plaguing workers. And I'm like, hold up. Now people resenting their work environment this is now a thing. It's now a trend. It's an ism. So I sent it to Beth with a huge eye roll. And she, of course, jumped right on board because, I mean, it's enough already, people. We have syndromes. We have isms. We have phenomenons. I wrote them all down. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's like definitely a trendy, fashionable thing to be feeling like you're under one or more of these, topics. And first of all, I want to say, I feel like there's definitely media sensationalism at play. Like you were saying, like a lot of the top magazines where I was like, oh, this is the new problem, issue, crisis at work. It's like, let's throw crises out there because people are going to be so reactive. But I also think it's got to be driven greatly by social media, right? Hashtag quiet quitting or on TikTok, or things like that. And then people jump on the bus, right? Yeah, I have that problem too. And this is what happened to me. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm glad you brought that up because this is a great segue. So here's what this article goes on to say. Now, this is just one article, and it fully supports everything we've been talking about. So we have tall poppy syndrome, which we're going to talk about next week. We have imposter syndrome. We have quiet quitting. We have the great resignation. We have the great reimagination. I'm trying to think of some of the others, but it's absurd. And media has been labeling feelings at work and turning them into a thing. So this is that. So I read you the headline, right? The phenomenon. This was the Great Resignation was a phenomenon that led to the coining of yet a new workplace buzzword, resenteeism. Okay, so stay with me. Dubbed the natural successor to quiet quitting by glamour magazines, Bianca London in the UK, it's the act of staying in an unsatisfying job due to a perceived lack of better options or fear of job insecurity. Okay. The act of staying in an unsatisfying job. So let's pause for a minute. Beth, have you ever stayed in an unsatisfying job?
No.
Never. You've never stayed in an unsatisfying job.
Oh, let me say that. I never stayed for a really long time in an unsatisfying job. One time I took a part-time job. This was my closest thing to corporate for like a couple months. I wanted to make some extra money. We were going on a family Disney trip. And I was there for, I don't know, 2 months, maybe 2.5. I could not wait to get the heck out. Not because I didn't like the people. I just was like, I cannot sit at a desk and do data entry. But I stayed.
Okay, so,
not what I wanted. Yeah.
But you stayed for a couple of months. So that's the first thing. This is the act of staying in an unsatisfying job. For how long, people, right? Staying in an unsatisfying job or being in an unsatisfying job, that's a part of life. That's how you figured out, I can't sit at a desk. That's not who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a worker in these circumstances begins to actively resent their current workplace and often doesn't do a great job of hiding it. Okay, well, this is not like rocket science, but here's what I found out. I did not know this. So this new resenteeism is closely related to quiet quitting, one of my other favorites, which rose to prominence. Do you know how this buzzword, quiet quitting, that everybody was talking about, I'm sure it got into Forbes, do you know how it became famous?
How?
I'm going to give you one guess.
TikTok.
Yep. So someone on TikTok starts talking about quiet quitting, and now everybody's talking about it, and human resources is talking about it. Like, we need to be a little more discerning with what we embrace and what we follow and what we accept. Okay? Because you know, you can't just slap a name on it and say it's a thing. No. Okay. My rant is over. Did you have anything calm you'd like to say in response to that?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what came to mind for me, because I do think that social media is driving a lot of this stuff. So I think the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, am I going to fully believe in, commit to, and become part of some quick fly-by-night trend that comes across social media, rather than stop, take a breath, be curious, look at, is there a realistic piece to this? Or is it kind of like an excuse or a cover up for something? Is the media trying to rev us up? Like, what's the driving force of something like this? And why are we so quick to jump on the bandwagon? Is it that we want to be a part of something, that we want to fit in, that, I don't know. I find it hard to believe it's just the relatability of, oh, I'm dealing with that too. I think it's an opportunity to vent. And why are we venting so openly to the universe?
Exactly. And I want to put a disclaimer in here. I have made it my life's work to help people leave a job where they're not satisfied, and to help people figure out what lights them up and then go use it to set their career on fire. That is what I do. So I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that people should stay in a job where they're unhappy or where they resent their job. That's separate. This is about what we consume in our brain. You only have a finite number of brain cells and energy and oxygen. And why is the country or the world so willing to give oxygen to these scapegoats? So I think it's a scapegoat. And I think about imposter syndrome. We've talked about that a lot on this podcast. All of you that know me know that it's not a syndrome, it's a feeling, and feelings are not facts. And It's when we use it and we use it to catastrophize the feeling that it holds us back, and it's not good for us. So let's say someone is saying, "Oh, I'm having resenteeism." I don't even know how to pronounce it. And they label it, so they stay in their job longer because they're like, "Oh, it's a thing. Everybody's experiencing it. This is the new trend." Like we can't use these terms as scapegoats, particularly imposter syndrome. I see women, and so do you, I know, every day hold themselves back because they have a syndrome.
Yes. And I actually wrote in my notes that oftentimes, like I was thinking specifically for imposter syndrome, that, and we've talked about this, how some people will say, "Oh, I can't do that. I have imposter syndrome." And they're using that as an excuse really to front their fear. It's like, let me deflect and project. How do you like that? Deflect and project through blame, right? By just putting the blame on something. And it's like, okay, listen, it's a thing, right? We talked about this. It's an experience. People feel it, men and women. We've all had it. It's because you're challenging yourself, going into the unknown. But it's not something you go say, you don't go to the doctor and say, "Can you help me? I have imposter syndrome." I mean,
Right.
actually, let me not, I'm talking about a medical doctor. I'm not talking about, you might go talk to somebody who's a social worker or a psychologist if you repeatedly have those sorts of feelings. But yeah, I don't like, why are we clinging to these things? Is it that we have these, it's like is it the aftermath of the thing? I just want to not say the name, but are these the dregs of the pandemic, that like our nerves were so on all the time? Like, there was diversity, equity, inclusion issues. There were political issues. There were, look at the school shootings. It's almost like every time you turn on the news, it's like, something that makes you jump. And so, now we hear these things. "Oh, I'm part of resenteeism. Oh, quiet quitting. Oh, just try to take a breath, my friends, before you just attach to anything that comes out. It's like, you can separate and be quiet, and you can be in the eye of the storm and not get pulled in by the storm too. So,
Totally agree. Everything is something that helps me when I'm in the eye of the storm is everything is temporary. If you
mhm.
if you resent your work environment, it's temporary, right? There's hope. There's things you can do. There's people you can talk to and work with, and there's always hope if you take action. It's when you say, "I have resenteeism, so I'm just gonna ride this wave," that it becomes a problem. The other thing, and this is where I get hot. Okay, so I'm going to tell everybody right now, I'm about to get activated. This article goes on to say, and this isn't a major news publication, resenteeism is a spin on presenteeism, which describes employees, excuse me, showing up or logging on to Slack or Teams just for the sake of appearing to be doing work. In the case of resenteeism, yeah, blah blah blah. So this is now we're calling, which I used to work with a guy. Okay, this was 20 years ago, true story. And I know that there's someone listening, and she's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. He would take his phone, remember phones that were actually attached like to a desk?
Wait a minute. Do you mean like with a cord?
Yeah,
Wow.
and a handle and like a thing you put up to your ear. He would take that, he would put it on his desk, and he would leave for the day at like 2 o'clock. So anybody walking by his office thought that he must be here. His phone's right there. He must have gone out to go check on his client or something like that, right? Which we were all on to him, by the way. So now this is a thing. This is called presenteeism now. The labeling and boxing and catastrophizing or syndroming or whatever we want to call it of normal human behavior, right? Resenting your work, that's normal. It's not good. It's not something you want to be doing for a long time, but that's normal. By doing all this, I believe this is the dumbing down of America. I'm telling you right now, because the younger generation, and some of you are listening right now. First of all, I think the people that listen to this podcast aren't as apt to get caught up in all this. they're using it to validate their unhappiness. So the next thing that's going to come out is going to be like, well, based on the latest resenteeism report, 66% of Gen Zs report that they're resentful of blah, blah. I mean, come on. This is the ebbs and flows of life.
Yes.
Don't settle. I'm not saying you should settle. I'm saying, come on, media, do better. If there's anyone who works for the media, any media publication that listens to this, we would love to have you on to talk to us about why this is okay, why sensationalizing everything is okay. To your earlier point, this is why everybody's walking around like with a hairline trigger, and the smallest thing is setting them off.
Yes. Yeah. And I always go to, what is causing people, right, to latch onto this? So we just mentioned fear. Like, I don't want to, totally minimize the point that some people feel trapped, right? Maybe they feel trapped in their job. Maybe they feel helpless about getting out of it. Maybe you can't walk out because you need that salary. But that's why you go out and you get support from somebody like Nancy, somebody who works, as a career coach, or, and I'm not saying go out and drop $1 bajillion. I'm saying follow people on social media, listen to them speak, find some podcasts, places that can give you, I guess this is kind of a CTA, right? That can give you some information, right? Talk to somebody, a trusted friend, colleague, mentor, someone in your family that can help you decide, what's my next step? Not the whole shebang, let me pack my desk and leave, right? But just, what's my next step? What do I have control over, right? We just talked about this last week. What am I in control of? What am I accountable for? What am I responsible for? Rather than saying, I resent being here because blah, blah, blah. Well, then you have to look at, why are you feeling resentful, and why are you allowing yourself to stay in a resentful situation? And then there's overwhelm, right? I mean, it's not, by no means do I want to say it's not hard to go out and replace your job, or, find a better place, or it takes time. But if you're willing to give it a name or a label and jump in that pool and maybe get negative with other folks and vent and blame, then I don't know, is that really where you want to be? Or do you want to get the heck out? I mean, it's not easy, but rarely is anything of value, of high reward, easy.
Right. 100%. And what I find with my one-on-one clients is, the minute they take one small action, it could be something as simple as, I'm going to subscribe to this podcast because I'm going to reiterate and hear these things in my head over and over and over again. It could be something as simple as, I'm going to take 5 minutes before I go to work to do a 5-minute meditation. Whatever it is, the minute you take one step to make your environment better or your career better, one step, you will be much less resentful, because you're focusing on something else. You're focusing on the exit strategy, or you're focusing on your path, or you're focusing on how to make it better, not how horrible it is.
Right.
I still blame the media.
Yeah, I think they're responsible, but we also, I could go on and on about this, have to decide if we're going to believe everything we hear. Are we going to fall into everything we hear? Or are we going to be willing to say, you know what? I think that's a bunch of baloney.
Baloney. All right. So for our call to action here, I mean, I have a pretty powerful one. Do you want to go first?
Oh gosh, I guess I just kind of gave mine in there, right? Get it? Great. Find somebody you can go to and say, I have to make this change, whether it's, your job or whatever other ism syndrome, whatever you're holding on to, whatever it relates to, and say, rather than, just going on and on about it, I want to make change. I want to take action, and I'm not sure where to start. I'm overwhelmed. I need support. And it doesn't have to be paid support, although it is available to do that. And it's available at different levels, depending on who
plenty of free tools out there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Plenty of free tools that me and you offer.
Yes.
Right? In our communities, on the podcast, plenty. my call to action is to look at the source when you're ingesting information or restating information. Take a look at the source, because folks, we are coming up on politics season, and there's going to be a lot of discussions, and there's going to be a lot of, sometimes they'll get heated. We don't talk about politics on this podcast. And something I have found very helpful that I'd like to share with everybody is, I will say to someone, if you feel that you are educated and you have a thoughtful, educated, informed approach to how you make your decision on this topic, I'd love to have a conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't say, if you don't, I'm not, that's all I say. I say, if you think you're educated to have an informed and thoughtful approach about discussion about it, then yeah, let's talk. And that sometimes they'll say, well, I just heard it, I heard it on whatever. And then, okay, well then let's talk about it when we can have a informed, educated discussion about it. Which brings me back to, if you're going to throw around terms like resenteeism or quiet quitting or whatever the case may be, I mean, TikTok, really? This is where we're getting our news as a country, as a world?
Yes. Come on, I get some good ideas from TikTok.
I don't have it, and I think I need to get it, but I don't think I should. Tell me what good ideas you get from TikTok. I would like to know. Can you please share
Well, I saw
one good idea you've gotten from TikTok?
kin keeping.
Oh, you did. Oh, you get a lot of our ideas from TikTok. Yeah, you do. That's right. I take it back. Tall Poppy.
Tall Poppy.
Was that TikTok? Yeah.
Might have been, yeah. Tall Poppy.
You get a lot of, yep.
Yeah.
You do. You send me a lot of good stuff from there.
But
Okay.
you got to be selective. You got to be selective. So.
Okay. So that's what we got. We both have a couple of programs. If you are feeling resentful in your job and you're looking to make a career move, I have one more one-on-one coaching spot open. The link is this is the highest value exchange. It's one-on-one with me for 8 weeks. The link is in the show notes. And I am pulling together a retreat on the Outer Cape in October, Outer Cape Cod. All you need to do is get yourself here, and then I take care of everything else: the lodging, the food and beverage, the wellness experiences, all of the curriculum. And this is for people who are ready to make a big change and need a little support to get over the finish line to do the thing. You come in confused and not sure how to do it. You leave with clarity and confidence and a playbook. Link is in the show notes. Go for Beth.
All right. Thank you. Nancy, do you have a date on that October retreat?
I do not. It's going to be in October.
Well, you'll fill us in.
I'm working on the weekends. It's going to be over a weekend.
So yes, I'm very excited. I am doing a program with a photographer. Her name is Kim Conant, and it is called The Brand of You. It is a personal branding one-day workshop for women 40 plus who need some help getting some photos together and getting clear on their brand messaging, and then having a strategy and leaving with some basic pieces of content. So it's one day. It's in a beautiful home in Stoneham where you'll get tons of lovely images. There's an early bird special, but it's too late for that.
Oh, it is, right. You missed it.
Sorry. There was an early bird special.
Okay, but you still get great stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
All right. We're coming back with some good topics. Actually, we are airing this, I believe, right before I'm going out of the country for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to come back fired up. Yeah, I'm out of the country, I think, when this airs. Yeah.
Nice.
2 weeks. It's going to be great. Very excited. And that's when I do my best thinking, is when I'm away. So that should be fun. I love it. Oh, and our anniversary is coming up.
Yes, our anniversary is coming up in June. And so we are going to have a LinkedIn Live, potentially, unless somebody connects us to a studio who's willing to have us live in the studio where we can have an audience.
Oh my God, that'll be so fun.
That'd be amazing.
I'm very excited. It's going to be great. So June 15th, 12 o'clock, LinkedIn Live, or perhaps local in Boston. Oh, no, well, we'll probably do both. But anyway, whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Peace out, Podsters.
All right. See ya.
That's a wrap, Podsters. If you were thinking of someone as you were listening to this, share it. If you nodded along and even shouted out a couple of yes, leave us a review. Please, please, please. If you want to make sure you don't miss next week's episode, hit that follow button.
And you can find us everywhere. And if you would like to learn more about us and exactly what we do, take a look in the show notes for our deets. See you
next week.
Podsters.